Technical foul. Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Teed Up. I'm David.
I'm Justin.
As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Hope everyone's doing well. Right now it's Father's Day weekend, so we want to give a shout out to all the dads out there. Shout out to my dad because I think he watches. He says he does. I don't know if he just says that to boost my ego or whatever, but I think he does.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Definitely in both. Like there's definitely it's balanced. Shout out to Justin's dad too.
Yep.
Definitely a good guy. He works in healthcare, right?
No.
I thought he worked in healthcare.
No, he works in business.
Dude, I thought he worked in healthcare.
Nope, business.
Oh. Because I was going to say, like, thank you for, like, you know, all you do, like, during all this stuff going on. But
nope.
But I mean, like, hey, if you're a healthcare worker and a dad or just a healthcare worker, shout out to you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. So honestly, a lot to talk about. Even though basketball is not even going to happen for another 3 weeks, there's still a lot going on right now. Like all this Twitter drama, it's insane. Before we get into that, we want to tell you guys about our Patreon page. Go support the show. Put a link in the description for that. Check us out. You know, help support the show. You know, you get a lot of cool stuff. Membership start at $3. You get T-shirts, laptop decals. So we'll put the link in the description for that. So yeah, let's get into all this Twitter drama. Justin, I don't know if you saw, but you know,
I did.
The other episode we were talking about what Kyrie said, and you know, we're not trying to. I mean, I guess we can get like a little bit opinionated, but you know, we talked about Dwight Howard. We didn't really talk about his political opinion. We talked about how that would impact the Lakers last episode. If you haven't seen that episode, go check it out. But this is insane. So you obviously know what Kyrie said. He doesn't want to go to Orlando because he thinks it'll be a distraction. We already said our thoughts about that on the 2 episodes ago, so go check that out. But Kendrick Perkins clapped back on Get Up, and he said, and I quote, "Kyrie Irving, right now you are the distraction. You are the distractor. It's crazy to me because you come out and you do something simply without talking to President Chris Paul or consulting with Michelle Roberts." And then he quotes, he does air quotes and says, "Let's sit out with a plan," which he's saying that's what Kyrie's saying. It makes zero sense, and I totally disagree. That's what Kendrick Perkins said on Get Up. And he said Kendrick Perkins is starting unnecessary drama. Then Wilson Chandler steps in because he's Kyrie. I guess because he's Kyrie's teammate, he's trying to stick up for him. And he says, and he tweets out, "Ex-players are turning into suckers right now before your eyes on television." And then somebody tweeted a blooper of Kendrick Perkins airballing a shot, and KD retweets it. And Justin, I don't know if you remember in early January when Kendrick Perkins and KD got into a little Twitter beef.
Yes, they did.
I remember KD said, "Our starting center at Kendrick Perkins averaged a whopping 2 and 3 during that series. You played hard though, champ. LOL." And then Kendrick Perkins responded, "Boy, stop. You did the weakest move in NBA history. Up on a team 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals and then go join them in the following season. Heart of a champion right there." So this whole thing is insane. And Justin, I'm wondering, you know, like what do you think about this? I know it's a lot to digest. It's a lot to process, but what do you think? I mean, this is insane.
Honestly, I think most people would agree with me here. Kendrick Perkins is in the right in this situation. I mean, Kyrie is crazy right now. I mean, he's the Antonio Brown of basketball. Like, what is he even thinking? He didn't make a plan. He's just saying, "Let's start our own league." Where are you getting the money from? How are you getting the sponsorships? This makes no sense. Like, how are you going to do that? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. He didn't think it through. Like, I just don't understand why he even thought of this idea. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I understand where he's coming from. I understand why he doesn't want to play. But what would starting your own league do? I mean, when you go to start a new league, how's that work? You're still going to be playing then. And isn't the purpose to be sitting out right now so you can go do other stuff?
Right.
How's that going to work under a new league? You're playing basketball. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
And to kind of add on to that, like if you start your own league, wouldn't that just distract you more from what's going on in the country right now?
That doesn't make sense.
Exactly. You know, I think this is really unnecessary because I think, you know, at the end of the day, Kendrick Perkins, KD, Wilson Chandler, Kyrie, we're all on the same page. We all want the end goal, and that's to bring awareness to what's going on in the country right now. So I think all this fighting is unnecessary. Whether I agree with Kendrick Perkins or Kyrie or whatever side I'm on, it doesn't really matter. We're all on the same page. So to fight about it, to, you know, honestly, like I do agree with Kendrick Perkins. I think Kyrie is being – I can see where Kyrie's coming from, and I don't think we should cancel the season because I still think if you play basketball, you can bring awareness to what's going on with police brutality and racial injustice. You know, you can wear the "I Can't Breathe" shirts, take a knee, you can raise a fist, you know, do all that stuff. So you can bring awareness to it. But I do think Kendrick Perkins, you know, kind of firing shots like on live TV kind of sparked this, and I kind of think, you know, he could have, you know, handled it a little bit better. But that's not to like justify.
It's his job, though.
Right, and Kendrick Perkins is known for saying controversial takes. He's known for hot takes as an analyst. So, I kind of agree with Kendrick Perkins. I just wish he would have said it a little bit, you know, I wish he would have been a little bit more sensitive about it, because it is. Really?
I don't, not right now, because he didn't mention anything about what's going on off the court. Kendrick Perkins didn't mention any of that. All he did was talk about him trying to start his own league. Like, he's the distraction. I think he's not talking about like him not wanting to start a season. I think he's more so talking about him trying to start his own league, because he goes on to talk about not even talking to Chris Paul, the president, and like he's just coming out with things and he's causing a distraction with that kind of stuff. Like, yes, some of it makes sense, but not everything he's saying makes sense. And I think at some point he just needs to stop talking to the media and needs to talk to the actual players, his teammates and stuff. Like, obviously talk to his teammates, but he needs to go talk to the president, Chris Paul, and the other people among the league. Like,
Michelle Roberts.
Yeah, like they gotta go and make a plan. Like, you can't just say I'm starting a new league and without making a plan for it. Like, that just is stupid.
Right. And how many, like, you know, honestly, if he, let's say, you know, in a shot in the dark, he does start his own league, it would be kind of like the XFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be like,
it would never
nobody
work.
wants to watch that. Everybody wants to watch the NFL. Nobody wants to watch the Kyrie Basketball Association. Everyone wants to watch the National Basketball Association.
Exactly.
So,
it doesn't make sense. It's like, why would basketball is in such a good spot right now. If anybody's starting their own league, it should be baseball, with the way the owners and players disagree. The owners and players don't disagree here.
By the way, let me
one
say,
of the only leagues to actually come to an agreement with this.
Let me say real quick, I know this is off topic. Robert Manfred is a clown. He's an absolute clown.
It's not really his fault. He's just relaying the message from the owners. He's not the real issue. The issue is the owners and players can't agree.
But he could handle this a lot better. He could handle this situation a lot better.
I think he is getting too much hate in that situation, because while yes, came out and said there's going to be a baseball season, then he retracted the statement by saying there won't be. It's not 100%. That was a mistake of his, but it's not his fault. I mean, at the time, there was an agreement between the owners and players. They'd have a minimum amount of games played, and they'd have this situated if there was no resolution. But then both players and the owner backed out on it. So who knows what's going to happen with baseball? Baseball is so messed up. And if anybody's starting their own league, it should be baseball, not basketball.
Exactly.
Because basketball is in a great situation right now. I'm surprised how well thought out this whole plan was with the return. And honestly, I'm pretty excited for basketball. I mean, the way the players and the owners were able to work together and figure this out was pretty incredible, actually. And honestly, you just look how bad baseball is doing. Like, the fact that they were able to come to an agreement like this is just, it's amazing to see.
Right. And, you know, like, I feel like the NBA is amazing at, like, bringing awareness to social justice and to bring awareness to civil rights. You know, they're huge supporters of Juneteenth, which, by the way, I believe today is Juneteenth, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. So they're great at, you know, bringing awareness. They're great at, you know, like you said, basketball is in an amazing place right now. It's probably the best it's been in a while. So, yeah. And honestly, if you want to hear about talking about baseball, you can check out Justin's podcast, Boiled Up, that talks about pretty much everything in sports: football, baseball, basketball, hockey.
Yeah, a little bit of hockey.
A little bit of hockey. Go Flyers, by the way. Go Flyers.
Not much hockey going on right now, so there's not much news, but we do talk about a little bit of everything.
So go check that out if you haven't. They were just talking about the Jamal Adams situation, requesting a trade. Definitely go check them out. We'll put the link in the description. I guess you deserve a description spot.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, let us know what you think on social media, Instagram, Twitter. We'll put the link in the description for that. Let us know what you think about this whole situation with, you know, Kyrie Irving, Kendrick Perkins, Kevin Durant. Wilson Chandler. It's insane. It's honestly, like, it's the amount of just like drama going on right now is crazy. Next, we wanted to get into John Wall was just on a podcast. I forget which one. If somebody can tell me, I would appreciate it. He was just on a show, and he said he's trying to recruit Boogie to be a Wizard. If you know, John Wall and Boogie were teammates at Kentucky, and obviously Boogie Cousins has been dealing with injuries, towards ACL this year, towards Achilles previous year. So Justin, I'm wondering, should Boogie sign with the Wizards? I want to get your thoughts. Should Boogie sign with the Wizards? How is he going to do if he gets a roster spot? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I want to talk about this. So he had an Achilles injury 2 years ago now, and
Right.
then as soon as he was coming back, he had an ACL injury. There's just the ACL injury isn't what scares me. It's still the Achilles injury, because when you get that Achilles injury, you are never the same player after that Achilles injury. No
Right.
matter how good you were before, you were never 100% again after that Achilles injury.
Right.
You will
Like, if I
never be
could.
back to this whatever form you were at before. You will be worse as soon
Right.
as you
Like,
get back.
if I could just interrupt you 1 second, I'm sorry. If you remember, when Kobe tore his Achilles, he was,
Hmm.
yeah, he kind of fell off a little bit. I mean, he still averaged, I think, 20 something points a game, but obviously you could tell that he was, not the Kobe Bryant that we knew.
I mean, I have a list here. Rudy Gay, same thing happened to
Exactly.
him. He tore his Achilles and hasn't been the same since. Wesley Matthews, he was averaging over 15 points per game, over 50% true shooting percentage. Tore his Achilles, never had his full mobility back. Brandon Jennings is another one. He was a very good player. Kobe
Hmm.
Bryant, Anderson Varejao, Chauncey Billups. The list goes on. Even Ryan Howard in baseball. The list goes on. The Achilles injury really scares me,
Hmm.
and that's what I'm worried about. And then the fact that he was just finally getting healthy again to the point where he could play basketball, and then he tears his ACL. There's something off with his body. I mean, he was a very talented player, but I do not think he is nearly the same. I think he's a solid role player at this point, but if they're trying to build a big three in Washington, DeMarcus Cousins should not be part of it. He should be a
Hmm.
role player there, but they'd need a third. He's not a third star anymore. He would not fit that role that I think they're looking for. I think he would be a disappointment there. But I
Definitely.
mean, I think he could sign there. I mean, I wouldn't hate that move. I think it's a good fit for him because he wouldn't have all the pressure on him to be the star player because they have John Wall and Bradley Beal. I mean, if the Wizards were still trying to contend with John Wall and Bradley Beal on the same team, then I think DeMarcus Cousins is a good option because I think he'll be cheap as well. So I do like that fit, especially if they are able to get another good player in there. I think if
Hmm.
they have that good power forward there. I'm blank on his name right now, but with him, Cousins, Beal, Wall, and if they can get another player, I think they'd have a good enough starting five to be a 7-6 seed in the East.
That's what I was kind of thinking, but I think it's honestly, for Boogie at least, it would be a terrible move. Like, because like you said, the Achilles injury, he's never going to come back from that.
Mm-hmm.
Players just don't come back from Achilles injuries. That he's never been the same. He used to be the
Mm-hmm.
best center in the league, in Sacramento and even with the Pelicans. But
Mm-hmm.
once he tore his Achilles, his game just fell apart and he kind of fell off. And obviously that's not his fault. It's obviously his body, but still. So I think in this point in his career, because he probably doesn't have that much time left, he should probably sign with a contender. He should probably go back to the Clippers if they want him. Maybe sign with the Clippers. Sixers could use a backup center because Kyle Quinn's garbage. So
I don't want
I
the
think he
Sixers.
should sign with the
He's the last
contender and
player I want.
just ride the bench. You wouldn't want Boogie Cousins as a backup, back it up and
Absolutely
beat.
not. Not only is he not the same player he was, his mental attitude is not very good. He struggles a lot off the court
But
and
him
on
and
the court.
Embiid have
He's
great
str-
chemistry.
No, they would not. They went back and forth a lot on the court together. They did
No, they're
not
good
like each
friends
other at
though.
all.
They're good friends.
Yeah, they're good friends. Yeah, sure. I don't believe so.
They are.
No,
You
they're
ever seen
not.
that video of when Cousins was in Sacramento and they were slapping each other's butts to the point where it
Yeah,
got
there's
kind of
also
weird?
been no, they're not good friends.
I think they are.
They had some good battles, but they are not good friends. They would not get along. The two of them would not get along. They both want the ball too much. That's the other problem with Boogie. He wants the ball too much. He's a
But they wouldn't be on the
ball
court at the same
dominating guy.
time.
Obviously not, but you don't need him, especially he still wants money. He's going to have to get paid a little bit because he's been taking cheap contracts here the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to want to, what he would want to do is the Wizards would be good because they're a bad enough team where he can get good minutes and be a solid player for them and get good enough stats where he's putting up 15 and 8. That way he can go get a long-term 3-year deal somewhere else, because I think he needs to. He got his ring, or no, he didn't get his ring with Golden State. He
Nope.
didn't, right? No.
The
So
1 year he signed with them just
they
to get a
didn't win.
ring, be a ring chaser, and he decided, and then he felt that team just fell apart in the finals, which wasn't their fault. It was KD.
It was injuries.
And, yeah, Clay that got hurt.
But I mean, so I could see why the appeal would be to go get one more ring. But honestly, with him, he's taken the cheap contract the past couple of years. I think he needs to go somewhere where he can get minutes, get some points. That way he can go get a solid contract and earn some more money.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a good point. Let's say he could honestly sign with even like a lottery team, for example, and just try to get back up on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he signed with Chicago, for example, that'd be a decent fit. That'd be a decent fit. He could.
Okay fit.
It would be a decent fit. He would get minutes because the Bulls are hot garbage, so they really don't have anybody else to give the ball. I mean, they have Zach LaVine and I guess Larry Markkinen if he decides to be good anytime soon. But either he would get the ball and he would try to get, and he would get more minutes and he would get the ball and he would get touches. So he signs a cheap deal with Chicago, and then he can go somewhere else if he gets back up on his feet and stays healthy, and puts up good numbers too.
I don't think he would stay healthy, but I think that's another issue with him. I don't think he would be able to stay healthy. So I don't know if that would even work. I mean, it's a tough situation when you've been out of the league. What is it? It's been 3 straight years now he's been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean,
I believe so. Yeah,
it's just not looking good for him, and it's a shame because he was one of the best centers. He was the best center in the league at one point, and his career is kind of taking a downward spiral here. So it's a shame because he was a very dominating player, but his body couldn't hold up, and I'm afraid we're going to see that with a guy like Embiid and a Jokic and Cat. These guys, the center position does not last long in the NBA. You're dominating it for a year or two, and then next thing you know, one injury and you're done.
Yeah, honestly, and as you get taller, you get more injury prone, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely.
And obviously, I'm not a physician, but I think that's how it works, right? As you get taller, you put more, I guess, stress on your body.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know. I'm not a physician or a trainer, so
they also have more weight on them.
Exactly. Yeah, they have to put more weight on because you can't be like Taco Fall. I think Taco Fall only weighs I think he weighs less than 200 pounds. I think, and he's like 7'6".
I'm pretty sure he's still like 220. He just looks really. Looks really short because really skinny just because of. Yeah, Taco Fall is 7'6". He's 311 pounds.
Oh,
not that you'd be able to tell that. You'd never.
I was totally forget everything I just said. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but looking at him, you'd think he's under 200 pounds, but
that was the stupidest thing I've ever said in the history of the show, and I apologize, everybody. Seriously, that was the stupidest thing I've ever said.
I know it makes sense though because he looks like that. He really does look that way, but that's just because he's so tall.
Right.
But think about it, he's putting 311 pounds of weight on his feet every time he moves. So
have you seen
goes to show why big men get hurt more?
Yeah. Have you seen the video of his diet?
Oh yeah.
He eats I think a couple of thousand calories, more than 6,000 calories a day or something like that, or at least he did it when he played for Central Florida. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know what you think about Boogie Cousins, this whole situation. Let us know what you think. We want to know your thoughts. Also, if you want us to, cover a topic that you have, DM us on Instagram. We want to know what you want us to cover. Let us know. DM us, comment on YouTube. Let us know what you want to talk. What do you want us to talk about? We'll be here.
It's a rough time right now coming up with stuff with
absolutely
no basketball currently.
Absolutely, and the show will just get way better as we get into the season because we'll have just more stuff we can break down. We can go week by week to see how some teams did, see how some players did. I cannot wait. honestly, like, I have a reminder in my phone for July 30th. Like, just I can't wait for
Almost.
NBA to come back.
Just over a month.
We're almost there. Today's the 19th, so we got a month and 11 days. That's like 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks, or 3.5 weeks, 4.5 weeks. I don't know. I'm not a math guy. I barely I failed math in college, so I don't know. But we're almost there. That's the important thing.
Yep.
So next topic we're gonna get into is start bench cut. We do this every episode for those of you who are new to listening. For those of you that are coming back, returning listeners, thank you. Make sure to subscribe too, by the way, and follow us on Spotify if you aren't already. So today we got 3 point guards. We have Kemba Walker of the Boston Celtics. We have CP3, aka Chris Paul, of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then we have Trey Young of the Atlanta Hawks. So Justin, who would you start? Who would you bench? And who would you cut out of those 3?
Yeah, it's kind of a hot take here, but I'm starting
This
Trey Young.
was hard to decide.
It was because they're 3 talented guys, but in my opinion, I think the most talented point guard is Trey Young. I mean, he's putting up 30 points per game this season. He's able to perform decently statistically on the defense end. He's not a lockdown defender by any means, but he's still able to average over a steal per game. He has almost 10 assists, 9.3 assists, which is very good, so he can distribute the ball well. And he's just a solid all-around player. Now, I had higher hopes for Atlanta entering the season. I thought they were going to be a good team, kind of 6 through 8 range in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, that did not happen, but that was due to John Collins taking some peep heads. So it makes sense kind of why they fell off. Heads, yeah, roids, same thing.
I've never heard that before.
But yeah, I mean, he's good. He's a good player here. I think they would have done better with John Collins. But I think Trey Young's I think he's kind of a unicorn when it comes to the point guard position because he can distribute the ball well. He's got good handles, and he can consistently score from the inside all the way out to the 3-point range. Even if there was a 4-point range, Trey Young could hit that. So, I mean, he's kind of Steph Curry-like when it comes to his kind of on-ball performance when it comes to distributing and shooting. He can do it all. He can finish as well. So I have to give Trey Young my start. Then when it comes to bench, I really struggled with this, but I have to bench CP3. I think CP3 has shown me more throughout his career than Kemba has. He's kind of leading a bad roster right now, in my opinion. They have a couple good players like Gallinari and SGA, but outside of those 2 players, they don't really have much else.
Steven Adams.
He's not that great.
He's pretty decent. He's a decent, solid center. He's a solid starting center.
Yeah, he's a solid starting center back in 2000, not 2020.
2000? What do you mean?
He doesn't fit today's game. Dude can't make a free throw.
A great defender.
Shoot outside the paint.
Great defender.
Good rebounder. He's not that great of a defender, though.
Pretty good defender.
He's not a good defender when it comes to him guarding a unicorn-type center, like a Cat, Jokic, Embiid, who can spread him out the floor. Then he is not good. That's why he struggles. But anyway, I think CP3 is leading that team. And I think he is a very good player. He's putting up 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 17 points. He's efficient from the floor, shooting almost 50%. He's performing on the defensive end, over a steal and a half per game. He's just putting up good all-around numbers. He's a very good player, and he's the leader of that Thunder team. So I really like him. I think I would have to bench him, and then I would have to cut Kemba just because I'm not a big Kemba guy, and this was even before we went to Boston. I mean, obviously I do not like Boston, but he is just overrated by everybody. I mean, if you want to talk about a stat patter, he is a stat patter. He has been playing on a team that made the playoffs maybe once in the past 8 years, 9 years, whatever it's been. He has made the playoffs probably once, maybe twice, and he's just been putting up 23 points per game. Never shot over 44% from the field, hasn't shot over 40% from 3 in his career. He's consistently only averaged like 5-6 assists, nothing more than that. I think he's a guy that's been very overrated throughout his career, and he's kind of putting up a lot of decent stats only because he has nobody else on his team. I mean, we've seen this year, he's only putting up 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists.
I mean, he gets less touches because, he has Jason Tatum and
exactly,
but
on that team. This should be what his kind of career averages, not a 23 24-point per game scorer like he has been showing. I think he's more of a 24-4 guy. I think that's what his career would have been if he was on a half decent team most of his career. He's been on a bottom dweller team his whole career. That's part of his problem. So I think you have to give it to CP3 just because he's able to be a leader of that team, and he's kind of not of a stat pattern. Like, he's a good all-around true point guard, and I think Kemba doesn't give you that. Kemba gives you 20 points a night, but he doesn't give you the assists and rebounds and all the other stuff that Chris Paul can give you. I don't think he gives you the leadership either, because I think Chris Paul kind of has that experience of getting into the playoffs. Kemba does not. Kemba's been on that bottom dweller. I don't think he's proven to be a good leader. Like, honestly, I think Jason Tatum may be more so of a leader than Kemba when it comes to the Boston Celtics.
That's a hot take.
I don't see how Kemba
that is a hot
really
take
helped.
right there.
I don't see how Kemba's really helped that team. I mean, yes, he's been a good player, but I think it's more been the growth of Jason Tatum that has really taken the Celtics to that next level.
Yeah, but how can he be a leader if he's only in his third year?
You can have a leadership as a trait you develop at any point in your life.
I think you have to be a veteran
time.
if you want to be a leader. I think
you do not.
You definitely do.
No, you do not. No, you do not. Just being a star player in college can be good enough to give you the leadership to be a leader in the NBA. If you were a star player leading a team to a championship run in the NCAA tournament, you have the leadership to run a team in the NBA. No doubt in my mind. You don't need to be a veteran 8-year player to be a leader in the NBA. No way.
I think you do. I really think you do.
You certainly do not.
Because that's because it also has to translate to the locker room. When you're a veteran like that, you've played 5, 6 years, 7, 8 years in the league. You can teach the young guys some stuff. You can tell them where you've been. Things like that. Jason Tatum is still a baby in the league technically. He's in his third year. So he doesn't
Jason Tatum's gone up against Giannis, LeBron James. He's seen them all in the playoffs. Kemba's been in the playoffs once his whole career. Jason Tatum's been in the playoffs more in his career so far than Kemba Walker is. Kemba Walker was drafted in 2011. And yet Jason Tatum has made more playoff appearances than
But he's been playing for Charlotte, that's not his
exactly.
Not his
so what
fault.
leadership qualities does he have? He doesn't have any. He's never done it before.
He's done a great job. He's done a great job on the court with Boston. He's been a great floor leader.
With Boston, they're doing the exact same thing they were doing with Kyrie Irving.
I disagree.
They're not that much better.
I disagree.
What's your list? Who you start benching and cutting?
Well, you're going to completely disagree with me. But I'm going to start Kemba Walker for the reasons I just said. I think he's a great leader for that Celtics team, as much as I do not like the Boston Celtics. I think he's a great leader. I think he's a great playmaker. I think he's a great passer. I think he's a great.
He's only averaged 6 assists in his career. That's the max assists he's
ever
averaged.
Solid point guard. That's solid stats. I got to give it to Kemba Walker.
He's averaged consistently 4 or 5 assists.
You told me to do my list, and I'm doing my list.
All right, fine.
I'm going to bench CP3, and I'm going to cut Trey Young. Because here's the thing, and that's the thing that you said. You were knocking Kemba for playing for Charlotte because they were empty stats. Well, what about Trey Young? He's in Atlanta. Atlanta's a dumpster fire. So how do you know that Trey Young?
They didn't have many players.
Well, what if Trey Young was on a contender? What if
He's had one season, and his second best player was out for using roids for most of the season. You can look at Charlotte the past 8 seasons, 8 years, and they made one playoff appearance. There's history backing that up. There's just not history backing up Trey Young. Trey Young,
but that's not his fault. That's how the Hornets are managed. You know what I mean? Like, that's not his fault necessarily.
No, he couldn't attract anybody to play with him.
Because who wants to go to Charlotte?
That's not his fault.
When LeBron wasn't in Cleveland, nobody wanted to play for Cleveland.
Really? Nobody got Kevin Love there.
Nobody wants to play in Cleveland.
Kevin Love certainly wanted to play in Cleveland.
Kevin Love's, I don't know. He's a weirdo. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But yeah, I just got to do that with Trey Young. He's in his second year, and he's playing for a lottery team. obviously he's proven to me, like he has proven that he could be a star in this league. But the longevity that Kemba Walker has the longevity that CP3 has had. I gotta give both of them the edge over Trey Young.
So how can you say Luka Doncic is a top 5 player in the league when he's been in here 2 years?
Because
But for
Luka
Trey
Doncic is
Young,
something special. Luka Doncic is special.
he's not. He's
He's
Trey Young
something
has that
special.
special. Trey
No,
Young has that
not
special.
like Luka Doncic. No, not like Luka Doncic has. Luka Doncic is
To
special.
say that Trey Young is not elite, but then you go on and say Luka is a top 5 player, that just doesn't make sense. If you're saying Trey
Because
Young can't be good because he's only been in the league 2 years, then how can Luka be an elite top 5 player if he's only been in the league 2 years?
like I said, Luka is doing something special.
Can you explain that special?
Like
Because all you're saying is special.
because he's so young and he's able to dominate like he has.
But
Trey
he
Young
isn't
doesn't.
able to dominate.
Yes, he does.
He fails against top 10 teams in the league, and when he doesn't play, his team is still a good team. They're still 500 rep ball. They played, what was it? I believe they were 8-8. I think it was when Luka didn't play when he missed 16 games this year.
But now he's got a playoff shot, and he can prove to the league, hey, I'm Luka Doncic, and I'm something special.
But he
I'm a
hasn't done it
unicorn.
yet, has he?
But he's going to do it this year. I don't think Trey Young's obviously not going to do it this year because they're not even going to
Yeah,
Orlando.
because
Correct
he
me
had
if I'm wrong.
Kristaps Porzingis on his team this year now. How did he do last year?
Well, obviously, if you don't have a good team around you,
But so then how is you just blame Trey Young, but you praise
that's why I'm
Kemba?
saying if Trey Young gets
You're,
out of it, I'm saying if Trey Young gets out of Atlanta eventually, he can
why does he need to leave Atlanta? Now he has Clint Capella, John Collins, Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, all these guys, DeAndre Hunter.
Well, yeah, I want to see how they do.
I mean, that's fair points. I mean, I understand, but it just doesn't make sense how you can say he's only been in the league 2 years, he can't be a leader, but then you go and praise Luka for being some
because
god, like he's a leader, and he's
what
only been in the
Luka
league
can
2
do
years.
versus what Trey Young can do, it's a completely different thing.
It's not that different when you look at the stats.
I really think it is, and it's not just stats; it's how Luka plays.
Sure.
Let us know what you think. Who would you start? Who would you bench? Who would you cut out of those three? We want to know. Celtics fans are not going to like you. That's fine because I don't like them either. By the way, this is kind of off topic. I guess it's not off topic, but it's not really a topic that we were going to discuss. We were arguing in a group chat. Someone's told me that the Celtics were a better franchise overall than the Lakers. What do you think? I'm just curious, real quick.
I mean, it's interesting to compare. I'd give the edge to the Lakers, but I wouldn't say it's that far off.
Really? Because I think the Lakers do it by a landslide. I mean,
I don't think it's that far off, but I would give the advantage to the Lakers.
Because the Lakers have more finals appearances, I think. Yeah, they do. They're really the only thing that the Celtics have over the Lakers is one more finals appearance.
Yeah, I mean,
like you look at the Lakers alumni, Shaq, Kobe, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, and you look at the Celtics.
You can give up the same thing for the Celtics.
Larry Bird, Bill Russell,
Paul.
But they
Pierce,
got most of
KG.
But they got most of their rings when they were playing against plumbers and substitute teachers.
So did the Lakers, dude.
No, they got them in the 80s and the early 2000s. You're going to tell me that there were substitute teachers playing in the 2000s?
Yeah, that's your argument when you say LeBron's better than MJ.
That's not my argument.
That's one of your many arguments. Yes, you have.
I never said that. I just said the competition wasn't as good as people made it out to be. I still think that those teams were tremendous. Obviously, playing against when he beat the Lakers, when he beat the Sonics. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not going to say that like Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, that Sonics team was a bunch of plumbers and substitute teachers. Obviously, I'm not going to say that. I'm not that stupid. Karl Malone and John Stockton aren't plumbers and substitute teachers. Obviously, I'm not going to say that. I'm not that stupid, as I just said, but that's a whole nother discussion. Mm-hmm. Actually, there's another discussion we'll probably disagree on. We're going to talk about the Rockets again because they're kind of relevant, I guess. We're going to talk about their chances as a contender. Justin, do you think that the Rockets have a legit shot because I think their GM came out recently and said, we got a shot. Like he thinks that we can that the Rockets can contend. I don't know exactly what he said, but he said
Hmm.
he thinks
He
the
said they can
Rockets.
contend.
He said the Rockets can contend, and I'm wondering what your thoughts on that are.
Yes, they can, and I have a couple reasons. So one, like I said before, there are no strip clubs allowed, so James Harden will be putting up good numbers, so that will be good for them. I mean, the big jokes aside, I mean, obviously there is some seriousness behind that, but that was more of a joke. My main reason is look at James Harden. James Harden in his career has the most series won without having a second All-Star on his team. He has 6. That's pretty incredible. And he does have a second All-Star this year in Russell Westbrook on his team. So he does have that second player. And when you look at it, the small ball lineup has worked. It does have success. You can't deny that. There has been some struggles, but it has worked. I mean, we've seen them go into LA and beat the Los Angeles Lakers. It's not it hasn't had success. There is success. So to say they can't contend would just be a lie, because clearly they can contend. But who knows really, because you don't know how teams are going to perform out of this. But I would say if I'm listing teams in the West, outside the Lakers and Clippers, I'd give them the top 2. But outside that, I wouldn't say the Rockets don't have a worse chance than, say, the Nuggets. I wouldn't put that by them. I mean, I think coming out of this break, I think you can say that they have at least around the number 3 best odds in the West of coming out.
Mm-hmm. Look, obviously, I obviously they have a shot to contend. I mean, as much as I rip on Russell Westbrook and James Harden, Russell Westbrook, sorry, and James Harden, they do have a legitimate shot to win the championship. The only thing is, those chances of winning a chip are very slim. Yes, they did beat the Lakers and LA at Staples Center during the regular season, but we're forgetting about Zero Dark 30. We're forgetting about playoff LeBron. I mean, like, that's, a whole nother LeBron James.
But this isn't the normal playoffs. You can't guarantee he's
Right,
going
but
to
I mean,
be the
I think,
normal playoff LeBron.
but
You can't guarantee that. He's never had 3 months off before the playoffs. You don't know how his
right,
body is going to react. You can't. You're guaranteeing something, but it's not a
but
guarantee. You're giving them too
LeBron
much.
is jonesing to play basketball right now, and he's jonesing for a championship right now because he's
Again,
been off, and you've seen him
you
say
think
that.
that, but you don't know.
He's
You can't
definitely is.
guarantee that.
He definitely is. He's LeBron James. He loves the game more than anybody else in the league.
You cannot guarantee that.
Absolutely.
You're just making things up. You can't guarantee he loves the game.
I'm saying this
more
is
than
what I
anyone
think.
else.
This is what I personally think. This is what my opinion.
But there's no way you can say you're in LeBron James' mind and think that he
But
loves
I'm
the
saying
game more than anyone else. You can't.
regardless
It makes sense.
if there's a bubble campus or it's the regular playoffs, you're still going to get that Zero Dark 30 LeBron James that we
You
know
don't
and
know
love.
that. You've never seen this before.
I would bet money on it.
You don't. Then that's just a stupid bet. I mean, that
That's an
wouldn't make
amazing
sense.
bet. Betting on the Lakers to win the chip, that's a great bet.
No, it's not, especially at their odds, because everyone's giving. If anything, they're the one team you want to stay away from because everyone's giving them super low odds. Your reward wouldn't be good on a bet like that, because
I don't gamble.
There's not a good chance. There's not a good chance of you making good return on it because their odds are so low right now that them winning is actually Vegas has them winning, so betting on them would not be good, basically.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like,
in a regular season, yes, but right now, no.
But like,
you don't know what's going to happen.
But if I told
Vegas
you,
is thinking it's a regular playoff.
Right, but if I told you, like, I'll bet $100 on the Lakers win the chip, I could sleep at night. I'm very confident in that bet. So basically, what I'm saying is, again, and even with the Clippers, playoff Kawhi is a whole different breed as well. Because when he rests during the regular season and he's got 3 months of rest.
Have you seen him? Any footage of him at all during this?
No, because he doesn't have social media.
He could have put on 20 pounds. You don't know that. You have no idea what's happening with him, so you can't guarantee that. You literally haven't seen Kawhi in 3 months. You don't know what he even looks like right now.
Right, but I think Kawhi will be how Kawhi is.
You're
like
thinking,
how
you're
Kawhi
guessing. You
was.
don't you don't know.
No,
You see for a fact
this is my
you see for a
prediction.
fact that Jokic slimmed down. You see for a fact that James Harden slimmed down. You see all these guys getting in shape. You don't know that Kawhi's done anything. You can't guarantee that.
But this is what I'm predicting. You're like, what if James Harden slimming down affects his game? It could. You don't know that. You're not a
Doesn't really
trainer.
make
You're
that,
not
that
his
really
trainer.
doesn't
You're not his physician.
that really wouldn't make any sense because he's a point guard. If anything, Jokic slimming down would hurt him because he
I
actually
agree.
uses his fat.
I
Harden
agree.
does not use his fat.
I agree, but I'm saying like, what if James Harden like slimming down affects like how he plays, driving into the lane, something like that. This is all what if, and this is all predictions. For all we know, the Rockets could go on a huge run, go 16-0 in the playoffs. Who knows? But I'm just saying, in my opinion, I don't think that there's a snowball's chance in hell that they get past the Lakers or the Clippers when it comes to they have to play that. Another thing is
They
too,
may not even have to play them. You don't know that.
but they
You're guaranteeing the Lakers and Clippers are going to win in the first round. You have no idea that's going to happen.
if they do, which I think I'm really confident that they do. Another thing is James Harden always falls apart in the playoffs. We said that on a whole nother episode. He always falls apart in the playoffs and isn't how he is in the regular season. That's just a fact. That is a fact.
It's not. I
It is a
literally proved
fact.
you wrong when we
That's
did
a
that.
fact. No, I proved you wrong.
You proved me wrong by him choking in one series.
He choked in many series from 2012. Ever since he's been in the playoffs.
No, again, I literally went through each series.
So did I, and I proved.
No, you did not.
We can't get into it, obviously, but watch that episode and come back to me. Same with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook always falls apart in the playoffs. Can you at least agree with me there? Russell Westbrook always falls apart.
Hey, he's been to the finals, so
once.
Yeah, he at least made it.
But when he's on it, he made it one time because of Kevin Durant.
He still made it. He was able to make it once
because of Kevin Durant.
I wouldn't say he falls apart. I mean, he's had some struggles, but again, you're just basing it off of you got to dig deep into things. Like just saying he chokes in the playoffs doesn't actually work. Like you got to dig deep and look at the different situations and why it happened.
I did.
You can't just
I watched it.
No, but you got to dig deep and into things like CP3 being hurt for the Rockets that one year. They win that series if CP3 is not hurt. Things like that. Like people say,
said
oh,
CP3 and James Harden didn't play well together. So why does that affect how James Harden did?
Because he still was putting up 30-plus points. It wasn't his fault his team wasn't contributing. This is off topic, but
it's very off topic, and we have a whole argument about this. Go check it out. I believe it's like the 4th episode or something. I don't know. But, another reason that I have is the fact that they still don't have a legit center. And yes, that doesn't hurt them in the regular season, but that will hurt them, let's say, if they have to go up against Jokic or they have to go up against Cat.
Really? Did it hurt the Warriors when they won the championship without a legit center?
They had Andrew Bogut.
Yeah, playing. That's no different than what the Rockets have right now. They have a decent center, but they don't have
PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker's their starting center, but they still have other centers on the roster. Just because that's their starting lineup doesn't have a true center.
I think if they don't have a
true center on the roster,
I think that with the Warriors, it's a whole different situation just because of how good they were. You had Draymond Green, who was still a pretty big presence in the paint.
Tyson Chandler's not a good center. He's not a starting center. He's not
getting
a
old.
center.
He's washed. Come on.
He's good enough to play. He's good enough to play minutes.
Well, then why don't they start him? Why do they start PJ Tucker at the 5 over a legit center?
Because when James Harden has the ball like that in the half court, they want to just spread out the floor. So they want all the shooters on the outside with him and with the ball, and it frees up the paint so he can have one-on-one coverage. It's all about the matchups.
It's not going to work in the playoffs.
It's how it works.
It's not going to work in the playoffs.
But it will. You don't know that. Again, you're just saying things.
I know, but I'm predicting. This is a prediction. This is a prediction, and I'm predicting that they will not do well because they don't have a center, because of James Harden and Russell Westbrook's track record, which you can check out. We're not going to get into that again, and because of the Lakers and the Clippers.
No,
that's my prediction. Your prediction is that they might have a legit shot. I really don't think that that's true.
But you started out by saying the Rockets have a chance of being a contender, and then you just went on and said reasons they're not. Make up your mind.
What do you mean?
You literally said when you started this, you said Yes, I think the Rockets have a chance to contend, and then you went and gave 3 reasons why you think they won't contend.
I said that their chances are very slim.
But then you just said right now they won't contend.
Well, I meant to say I think their chances are very slim.
Okay.
That's just nitpicking, but
But
whatever.
that's not the
But it's
question. The
nitpick.
question was, will they contend?
I think
They're
yes, but
either
their chances are very
contending or not.
yes, but their chances are very slim.
Okay,
That's
that's
like
fair.
it's like the
You
Sixers.
just weren't. I was confused on what you were saying because you were saying at
No,
one point
yeah.
you were saying you said yes and then you said no and then you were saying like I just didn't know where you were.
No, I meant my whole take because of the reasons I established is I think that they contend, obviously because I think that they're a good team. They're fourth in the West. I mean, obviously they have a chance to contend. I just think it's very slim because if they have to go up against the Lakers and the Clippers or even the Nuggets with Jokic because they don't have a legit center, I really think that they will fall apart.
Jokic slimmed down there.
I did, yeah. Jokic did slim down.
I don't know how dominant he'll be. I mean,
That's the whole. That's yeah. Honestly, that's the biggest what if for me. Like in this whole
I
off
think the
season,
Nuggets
quote
could lose in
unquote.
the first round. I mean, Jokic losing that fat is kind of like that's one of his things. Like, well, it may help him in transition. One of his things is his fat helps him post guys up and prevent guys from scoring on him. So it's like
Right.
him slimming down actually may hurt him. Like
Hmm.
most of the time, you want to see a guy slim down, but I don't know if you want to see him slim down.
He should have turned that fat into muscle. And that's what.
I agree with that.
Like obviously, look at me. I don't do lifting. I mean, I should because it's but this quarantine gotta get this quarantine weight off of me. But thing is, like, I do know people that do like the lifting hard and stuff, and they say like the best thing to do if you're fat is to turn it into muscle rather than just slim down.
I agree with that.
And if he did that, I think it would be insane.
But the fact that he just slimmed down is terrible.
Exactly. No, yeah, he is it even healthy to lose that much weight like in that short amount of time? I mean,
I
like
mean, I don't know how much weight he actually lost, but from the
from
picture,
the pictures,
like
exactly.
from pictures, it does not look healthy, but
Yeah,
that's
like
just you don't actually know what the weights are.
he looks like he ate nothing but like ice cubes and water for like 3 months. Like seriously.
He sure weighs 250,
Oh, I'm sure he
260
does.
because
I mean, he's 7 foot. Yeah.
he was probably 290, 300 before, but he probably lost some weight. I mean, it's tough to judge off of pictures. It could have just been bad lighting too, but if he did really slim down, I think that actually hurts the Nuggets a lot. So I would say actually, I think that actually would be a reason why the Rockets would beat the Nuggets.
Mhm. I mean, like, will he still come back and be a dominant center? Will he still be a top 5 center? Probably. I just don't know because a lot of people put him at the best center in the league over Embiid. But I think once he got that weight off, and since Embiid's super muscular, and I think he's probably putting on some weight.
Yeah, with those
Embiid's putting
4
on some
chicken
muscle.
sandwiches every day.
Yeah. So I think Embiid pretty much just takes that spot. And that's what honestly what we're going to get into right now, our top 5 centers. And this is our last installment of the top 5 positions. Probably do more top 5 lists. I don't know what we'll do. Maybe top 5 Lakers of all time, for example. Top 5 players under 6 foot, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We don't know. But we're going to get into the top 5 centers. So do you mind if I go first? Because I let you go first the whole episode.
Go ahead.
Appreciate it. At number 5, I got to go with Rudy Gobert. 15 points a game, about 14 rebounds. He's third in rebounds among centers, fourth in blocks among centers, and shut down the entire league. Not a funny joke. No, that's an overused joke. I apologize. At number 4, I'm going to go with Hassan Whiteside. Averaged 16.3 points a game, 14.2 rebounds a game. He's the block and rebound leader in the entire league. So that's super impressive. I got to give it to Whiteside there. And then I think he's a great addition for Portland. At number 3, from what I have seen from him, I know we just kind of ripped him for losing weight, Nikola Vukovich. I know we just said, because he lost a bunch of weight, blah, blah, blah. But from what I have seen before the season got canceled, I'm going to give it to Jokic. He has the highest PER. He has the 8th highest PER, in the league. 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. 7 assists for a center is pretty damn good. That's very good. To average 7 assists as a center. Would you agree with that? I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's very impressive in my opinion. At number 2, I got to go with Cat, 26.5 points a game, about 11 rebounds, 4 assists. He has the highest PR among centers. He's shooting 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. So he's almost part of that 50, 40, 90 club, but he just has to bump that free throw percentage up a little bit. And obviously, you know who I got at number 1.
of course.
You know who I got at number 1. The process.
Mm-hmm.
A 7'2" center from Kansas. Joel the Process Embiid. I don't do it like the Sixers announcer because the Sixers announcer is phenomenal when he announces that. But Embiid, he's the best center. He's so dominant. He's amazing. I love Embiid. I'm not even biased. He's the best center in basketball. You can take that to the bank. Embiid all day. And if anybody disagrees, you don't watch enough Sixers basketball. You don't watch enough basketball, period. If you think Embiid is not the best center in the league.
I agree with you on that.
Justin, I would be baffled if you didn't have him at number 1.
Of course, I have him at number 1. Joel Embiid is the number 1 center. He can do everything that Jokic can do. His passing is not quite on that elite level that Jokic has, but it's very good. It's above average for sure. And Embiid's defense is significantly better than Jokic's, so I have to give Embiid number 1. I mean,
also, if I can interrupt you, think about this quarantine campus. There's not going to be any Chick-fil-A. There's not going to be any milkshakes. He's going to have probably a personal chef.
Yeah, so there's a chef he'll get chef-fed meals for 3 times a day.
So healthy meals 3 times a day for Embiid? Watch out.
You don't know how healthy they're going to be.
I don't know. Maybe they'll be healthy. I would assume that they're healthy if they're athletes. They're cooking for athletes.
You don't know that. Athletes like to slack off for their calories because they need them when they burn them off. I don't know necessarily. But, yeah, Embiid is certainly my number 1 center. I mean, he can do everything. He's an elite defender, not an elite shooter, but an elite scorer. And he can shoot. He can pass. He's a great rebounder. He can do everything. He's just better than Jokic. And I don't know why people like to overrate Jokic because he can pass. But he's only averaging 20 and 10 this year with 7 assists. His numbers are good, but they're not great. And
yeah,
that's why I have to have Cat at number 2, actually. I have Cat at number 2 because he's putting up 26 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. He can do everything that Jokic can do.
He's got the highest PR among centers. I mean, that's...
Yeah, and he can't pass like Jokic, but I think that's kind of an overrated thing because honestly, I don't know if I want my center having that many assists per game because I'd rather him kind of finish those passes. When he gets the ball in the post like that, I want him going up with it unless he's obviously getting triple teamed and passing it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. I like my center scoring more than I like him passing anyway. I like him making a couple assists per game, but 7 almost feels like too many. I feel like if he's getting 7, 8 assists a game, I think he's passing up too many good looks in the post then. So that's why I have Cat at number 2. Then number 3, I do have Jokic. I think Jokic is a good player, but he's just not as good as everyone makes him out to be. I think Cat and Embiid are certainly better than him. He's good. I can't deny that. I mean, he can pass like no other big man. He can rebound and he can score and he can shoot pretty decent. So I have to give Jokic number 3. Now, that was all the same as you, but here's where my list kind of goes a little different. Next, I have Bam Adebayo at number 4. I think he is the number 4 center in basketball right now. I mean, what he's done with Miami is pretty incredible. I think he is definitely a top 3 most improved player this year for sure. He's very valuable to that team. Puts up 17 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, a block and a half, 1.3 steals. So he's putting up good numbers all around. He can do kind of anything you ask. He's very good on the defensive end. He can finish inside. He's not the best shooter, but what he's done with Miami has been pretty spectacular this year. I have to give Bam Adebayo my number 4 center. And then number 5, I don't have either of your 2 guys. I have my own guy here. I have Nikola Vukovich. I think he is one of the most underrated players in basketball. He's putting up 20 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal and a block per game. His stats are better than Rudy Gobert
Oh,
and Hassan Whiteside. So I have to give it to Nikola Vukovich. I think he's extremely underrated. One of the most
oh,
underrated players in basketball right now. I
oh.
mean, he's very good, just very good all around. He can play defense, shoot, score. He's kind of like that Embiid, Cat, Jokic, but he's not like those guys are up here, but he can do everything as them. He's just not as good. So I have to put him down here. He's not in that elite level, but he's definitely good. I mean, I understand where you're coming from with those other guys, but those other guys are not as good all around as Vukovic. Vukovic can still defend decent enough where he's effective, and he can shoot, he can finish inside, he can pass, and he can grab just as many rebounds as them. So I think you have to give Vukovic the edge over those two guys you listed in Gobert and Whiteside because they are very good centers, but they would have been elite. They would have been elite centers, top 5 centers, if this was 2008. Because back then, that's all centers did. All they did was play defense, rebound, and dunk. But that's not how basketball works anymore. Basketball, the number 5 position has developed into a position where you have to do kind of a little bit of everything, and I think Vukovic fits that role better than those
Not
two guys.
necessarily. Not necessarily. I
I
mean, like,
think so.
in Whiteside's stance, he has the shooting for him. He has that athleticism for him in Lillard and CJ McCollum. So I think Whiteside is
Yeah,
honestly a
and how are they
perfect.
doing this year?
I mean, they're fighting for a playoff spot.
Barely, and they have 2 elite talents at the guard
They're
position,
projected to
and
be a dark horse team for the West to come out of the West.
it has not. Whiteside actually has hurt the team this year acquiring him. I don't know how you have him in your top 5 centers. I think
I have him
Whiteside is
because he's the block.
terrible. You have
He
him at
leads the league
4.
in blocks and rebounds.
That team was better with Nurkic over there at center. I think Nurkic is a much better player than Hassan Whiteside is.
I disagree.
Nurkic can do everything, and he can play good defense. I'd give Nurkic over an edge over Hassan Whiteside when it comes to that. I wouldn't even Hassan Whiteside's probably not even in my top 8 centers.
Wow.
I don't think Hassan Whiteside is that good.
Even though he's leading the league in blocks and rebounds.
Blocks and rebounds. Blocks and rebounds are 2 out of the 8 categories you play. Like,
Sam
congrats, he's
Whiteside
one
is
dimensional.
Sam Whiteside is an amazing defender.
Yeah, I mean, I'd
He
give
made
Rudy
he made that
Gobert the edge over him.
he honestly made that Miami team better when he was in
What my
Miami
No, they're playing better this year without him.
because they got Jimmy Butler.
They had a good team last year still. Hassan Whiteside
He missed the
is one
play.
of the most
How did they do
overrated
last year?
players now. He doesn't fit in today's basketball game. He's a good role player, but he's nothing more than that because he can't be a guy that you can just feed the ball in the post and expect him to score. You can't give him the ball like that. And he certainly cannot shoot. He misses most of his shots outside the paint. So if you can get a big enough guy like a Joel Embiid on him or anything else like that, he shuts him down because you just have to stay inside and force him outside. And Hassan Whiteside it's basically 4-on-5 when Hassan Whiteside's on the court when it comes to the offensive end.
He averages 16.3 a game.
Yeah, but that's just
solid free throw shooter.
He's not a solid free throw shooter. No, Hassan Whiteside is not that good. He is so overrated. He's just not that good in today's basketball. He doesn't fit today's basketball.
I think he does. I think he does just fine. And I don't think you have to have a jump shot.
Dude,
I mean,
he literally made the Trailblazers worse.
At least with the center position, I think you have to have at least a jump shot, but you don't have to play like Cat or Embiid to be a good center in this league.
I've never said that, but I think playing like them gives you an advantage over a guy that's
absolutely, but I think you can get by and be a top 5 center without,
I don't think you can.
I really think
you can be borderline top 5, but you cannot be a top 5 player when it's 4-on-5 when your team's on the offensive end. That just doesn't work like that. Like, you are not an truly elite player if it's like that. I mean, you'd have to be a very special defensive player for your team to go 4-on-5 on the offensive end and make that big of an impact on defensive end that it doesn't matter. Like, I just don't see that in Hassan Whiteside's game. Like, he's a good defender, one of the best in basketball right now, but he's not like generational talent on the defensive end.
I don't know. We could have a whole nother discussion about Whiteside, another episode. Let us know what you think about it.
He made the Trailblazers team worse this year.
I don't think he made them worse.
Really? Because who else did they add other than Carmelo Anthony to that team? They didn't lose anybody either.
Maybe Melo made them worse.
I think it's more so on
I don't think
Whiteside.
I don't think one player makes the team worse. I think that's just nitpicking, and that's just ridiculous.
I'd say how Al Horford made the Sixers worse.
Because he was, yeah, but once he like came off the bench,
So maybe that's the problem. Maybe Hassan Whiteside needs to come off the bench for
maybe
Yusuf Nurkic. Because Whiteside is not a top 5 center, especially at 4. Rudy Gobert would certainly be better than him.
I got him at 4. But let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about our list. Do you love it? Do you think it's terrible? Do you think it's garbage? Let us know what you think. We want to know what you think. Yeah, great episode. Definitely covered a lot of news. This was a good week for the NBA, even though there's no actual basketball being played. There's some pretty decent news. You had the Boogie, rumors, John Wall trying to get recruit Boogie, all this drama. So yeah, definitely a good week. Would you say?
I agree with that.
I agree. You just have to wait till we get actual basketball online, or I don't know why I said online. Give actual basketball on
So
the
we'd
TV.
be able to watch it online, but on live TV there. But
yeah, that's going to wrap up this episode. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Definitely check us out on Twitter and Instagram. Check out the Patreon page. Help support the show. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and have a good one. Peace.